Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to episode 7 of Employees Only, presented by Mulcahy's. Today we had Tom Cataldo, the owner of Dirty Taco in Wantagh and Rockville Centre, and soon to be in Woodbury.
Soon to be in Woodbury.
Pretty exciting stuff. Awesome taco place. And we really hope you enjoy the interview. What do you think, Rube, about the old...
I loved it. Our first in person.
First in person, so
Podcast.
if you're watching and it's a little fuzzy or whatever, don't judge us. We have a very low budget, and it's our first time.
No, I really enjoyed it. Obviously, it's always cool to be able to get the backstory of like a place that you really love, and it is. If you haven't been yet, it's such a cool concept. It's done so well, and I mean, I think Tom's kind of passion for it speaks for itself, and also is just him, Tom Senior, Tom Junior, his wife. Their family. You can see how much they've put into the brand, and it really shows, like, in their foods, in their service, and everything. So it was really cool to get the backstory of one of Long Island's, honestly, I'd say hottest restaurants of the last couple of years.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. Check it out. We're available, obviously, on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. It's on the Mulcahy's Facebook, the whole 9 yards. So if you can't find us, you're doing something wrong. But we hope you enjoy. Thanks. Hey everyone, welcome to Employees Only. What episode are we in? 7?
I'm gonna guess 6.
I think 7. 6 or 7. We're here. We're very lucky today to be with Tom Cataldo from Dirty Taco and Tequila, right here out of Wantagh.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
And Rockville Centre.
Soon to be Woodbury.
Soon to be Woodbury. This is breaking news, everyone, so we should get paid for this. Well, one thing I want to say, that location in Wantagh never seemed to do anything, really. It was a couple places, and it was in and out of a couple places, and no one even knew what the hell was going on. And I think you guys, lit it on fire.
Absolutely.
Right from the jump, I think.
From cheeseburgers to barbecue places to Caribbean to tacos.
Yeah. So right off the bat, what do you think? What do you contribute the huge success of Dirty Taco to? I know you could probably talk for like an hour or so about it, but
listen,
in a couple words.
Tacos right now, they're a hot concept. They really are. Tacos are easy. They're affordable. They're fun. Who doesn't love tequila? I think Wantagh was lacking kind of a hot spot on that strip over there. I think it was the right time, right place. It just clicked. Everything just clicked together pretty much.
And why tacos? Like, did you always want to open a restaurant, or did you want to do tacos and then you found the location? How did that go?
No, it's a good question. It's a funny story how it all happened. The owner of Dirty Taco is actually my son. So my son owns Dirty Taco, Tom Cataldo Jr. Went to college 13, 14 years ago, Arizona State. And from the moment he arrived at Arizona, he was partying, of course, in California every single weekend.
Arizona State, I think.
Devils, right?
Arizona State, yeah.
That's the biggest party school in the nation,
Yeah,
right?
it definitely is. Why he was only there for 2 semesters.
Nice.
No way.
I love that, yeah.
No, but he was every weekend partying, of course, in L.A. And it's funny because I remember the phone call one night that he had the best taco in the world, which was from a taco truck in L.A.
Yeah.
And I tell you something, this kid stuck with that concept for all these years.
Wow.
So when he finally decided 4 years ago to go on his own and actually take this gamble and open up a taco shop, I thought he was out of his mind, to be honest with you. Tacos were on every corner.
Mm-hmm.
And he kept on saying to me, Dad, you don't understand what this is about. He goes, it's not a typical taco. And I'm like, a taco's a taco to me. And he was like, no, it's not. So we went to L.A., showed me exactly what he was talking about, what trucks he ate at, what restaurants he hung out at, and took us to K-Town, Little Korea,
Right.
which is the ghetto of L.A., and Korean ghetto, and it was absolutely incredible. I love the concept, and it is a true fusion Asian Mexican taco that we just don't see and have in Long Island, and that's kind of where it really started. That's where the brainchild came from.
That's awesome. And so, Tom, you're a Massapequa native. So can we take it all the way back? Because I know that you've got a background in catering. So was that kind of like, did Tom Jr. kind of always want to head down that road, or was it kind of a series of events?
Yes and no. He, only child,
Yeah.
his dad's doing his thing. He wants to make his own mark and do his thing as well,
Right.
which is very, very cool. Totally agree with that. Totally get it. So, college was all about finance and business degree at that point. And once he came back, I think he did a day or two in the finance world and fell right back into the catering world, but he fell back into the areas where more back of house, more inventories, more controls, more logistics of the business, and it was more the back end that really triggered him and really kicked him into high gear. It was more that end of it, and yes, of course, over the years has worked with me forever. We're a family that works together. My wife, my son, myself, and that's really where it came from. Yeah, so it's in his blood. It's in his blood. The whole family, we're all in the business.
That's awesome. And what roles do you all play? Just to clarify, at Dirty Taco, what roles, like, does your wife play?
All the
Does he
roles.
play?
My wife is the financial end of it. She loves the front of the house end of it. She controls the front end of the house of staff-wise. I basically am the spokesperson for the company. I work with the chefs as far as the new recipes and things of that nature, promotions, things of that. And Tom is he is the people person. He's
Right.
the meter, the greeter. He just creates the atmosphere, the energy level. It's all him at that point. It really is.
I feel like that might run in the family too.
Yeah, you're pretty good at that too.
Look, I mean, we all have our role. We overlap each other all the time. It's crazy. I mean, it's a mom, dad, and son, and yet we work together. Like when we're working, it's just like we're partners. That's the way it works. But you get home, I still take control of the household.
There you go. Perfect.
And just talking to that success, did you anticipate it would be as big as it has proved to be, or was it just kind of like, you thought there might be a niche and then
Look,
it exceeded that?
I thought his concept was great. I really did. I thought he had something with that. I mean, we stayed there almost 3-4 weeks in LA.
Wow.
And what we really did was we brought one of my chefs down from the catering business.
God, yeah.
And we basically just kind of said we have 3 weeks to absorb every bit of knowledge we can on this LA taco Korean concept that we're talking about. So, bringing it back, we were pretty pumped. We were pretty hyped up about it. We really thought we had something really, really good working here. You always go into this with a little trepidation, of course. What if it doesn't? Do you think it will? So what we did was we started small. I mean, honestly, Junior was very interested in just doing a taco truck to begin with.
Wow.
And I said to him, listen, the cost of a taco truck,
Yeah.
honestly, we could open up a small brick and mortar for the same cost, if not less, and have a year-round business, no permits, no issues. We're parking this truck and weather issues. Let's just do it in a small brick and mortar. So we took something very small, and that's where it started. We thought we had something hot. We thought we had something that's going to build and grow. But we went in with, obviously made a breath, kind of watched him a little bit, and it just blew up.
So when he was out there in LA, did your son work in any restaurants to learn how to do the tacos and stuff like that, or is it just kind of like you watch and observe those 3 weeks you're out there?
Junior has no interest in working in the kitchen.
None.
I can tell you but he was the party animal out there at that time,
Mhm.
and he loves tacos. So he certainly has knowledge on the whole taco scene, but he doesn't actually work in the kitchen itself. It's not his forte.
And when you were on that trip, did those kind of stands and the places that Junior took you, did they kind of embrace you, or were you just kind of observing as a customer?
Oh, absolutely. Look, I didn't walk to a taco truck and tell them what
Right.
I went to in New York.
Yeah.
But we certainly did. Look, we would order, we would talk a little bit, we kind of picked their brain a bit if we could also, which was great. I think the greatest part was we went to K-Town, and we actually had a Korean family who's been there for 30 years, known for making these Korean tacos. That's where I focused my energy for about 3 weeks with this particular family, and we really learned the background of even them when they immigrated to LA and how and why. Actually, a great story. The Dirty Taco name actually came from our conversations in LA. When the Korean families emigrated to LA, obviously they moved to the ghettos. Certainly there was really no money there.
Yeah.
But what was available to them on a regular basis, look, Italians, we eat pasta every day if we could in our household.
Yeah.
The Koreans had Korean short rib in the household. That's the go-to. And amazing, they always had available to them tortillas from the Mexican community that they assimilated with.
Right.
So in those days, early on, late 80s, very early 90s, they would actually refer in their community, in their world, to Dirty Tacos, because they had the tacos, which were the tortillas, which cost nothing. They were always plentifully available.
Yeah.
And mom and grandma would make the Korean short ribs.
Wow.
That was what they called their Dirty Taco.
Wow.
That's where it originally came from. Obviously, the name has a triple entendre all day long, which was awesome for us. But originally, that's really, and that's why this whole concept of Dirty Taco really started very organically. It really did.
That's awesome. That's really cool, Torrin. It's cool you guys got a little history lesson too when you went down there.
We did. It was a
So
great
many
history.
people probably just opened a restaurant because they felt like it. You guys went there, did the research, and
That's exactly it.
now our listeners have a little history of tacos in California. So thank you for that. The food's great, obviously, and there's a million taco places, and they're all good. Obviously, you guys are the best. You won the taco thing here at Mulcahy's. Korean short rib, that's the number one seller.
That's our number one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think you guys have created like a brand, and a promotion behind it better than most restaurants, even big restaurants. You're like not little places, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Your
absolutely.
brand is huge on Long Island now. Like, what background do you have in branding and promotion? Do you think? Well, yeah. What background do you have in that? Because obviously there's something there.
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, my original, where I started from originally was the nightclub business. So back in the 80s, again, I was running, managing, promoting nightclubs for years. Always had a knack for what the next hot trend is going to be. My finger's always on the pulse.
Yeah.
It always has been. I hope it still is to some degree.
Yeah, it looks like
Judy's
it.
picked that up.
Was this on-
Judy's picked that up already from me,
Right.
so it's okay.
Was this on Long Island or in the city?
Yeah,
or
no, it was Long
which
Island.
ones?
It was in
Yeah.
Westchester, quite a bit in Westchester
Okay.
also. So,
Which clubs?
well,
for anyone
of course,
listening?
Long Island here. My biggest career in Long Island was Metro 700.
Okay.
Ocean Club Tuesdays, one of my favorite nights ever, and
Yeah.
007 Thursdays, which is incredible. So, so that was the big one. I was for a good 7-year run.
Wow.
There. But I was at the Zachary's, and I opened up the Bridgeview, whatever it was called at that time as well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been dabbling in so many of the Long Island nightclubs over the years. I also ran several nightclubs up in Westchester County as well. And look, actually, I'll be honest with you, my story started when I was 17.
Yeah.
I mean, I owned a pizzeria restaurant at 17. I was the youngest entrepreneur in New York City.
Wow, where was that?
Yeah, it was in Rosedale, Queens.
What was it called?
It's called LeBarry.
LeBarry.
LeBarry, and I still have pictures of myself with my old rat tail of those days.
No
And my
way.
funhouse jacket for the city
Wow.
clubs, But
And
it
were
was
you
a-
doing it all then, or were you kind of managing, owning,
Oh,
cooking?
pizzeria?
Or-
Yeah,
yes.
I was a pizza maker at the pizzeria at
Right,
17
got
years
ya.
old, and this, the young owner at that time decides just to basically bolt one day. Left the husband, left me the pizzeria. I'm sitting there with the pizzeria,
Wow.
and she was like, you want to buy it? I'm like, yeah, Dad.
Yeah,
Basically,
right.
But I honestly, it was the beginning of a career in hospitality that has just been unbelievable for me. I was at that time the youngest entrepreneur in New York.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
something.
So I was on quite a few talk shows and,
Right.
and there was quite a few. There was actually a book called The American Teenager Gets a Slice of the Pie.
Wow.
That's
And
awesome.
it was across the UK, and they did a lot of interesting meet and greets in UK and whatnot about this young American teenager that
Yeah.
has a pizzeria.
The narrative
And
is
that's kind of where it
awesome.
started from, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. And it's just, I just parlayed that into so many other things over the years, and most recently a caterer. So yes, it's in my blood. All of the promoting and now of course the internet, and of course social media is huge for us as well. But again, it's always finding what the next thing is going to be
Right.
before it is what it's going to be. And that's where you get successful. I think that's where the success comes from. It's anticipating and keeping that finger on that pulse as much as possible, to be honest with you.
How long did the pizzeria venture last?
Oh God, that was for years.
Really?
For years. Again, it parlayed me into what I have right now. I mean, I was able to sell the pizzeria at a young age and move on to another restaurant upstate in the ski center, and it was almost like live music we had.
Yeah.
We had Italian restaurant on the other side, and we flip it to all the Long Island bands would come up there, and that time they come skiing. There's a bands who play for the weekends for us, so we brought the whole Long Island crowd
Wow.
upstate New York, and it's just been continuing developing over the years.
What'd you say was Hunter Mountain in that range?
No, it's Bel Air Ski Center, Plattekill Ski Center. It was 45 miles west of Kingston.
Nice.
Is the area there.
And as a young entrepreneur, what were the big lessons that you took from that first joint?
Oh my God, so many lessons. It was honing my people skills. Number
Right.
one is what it really was. Understanding what consistency meant.
Right.
That pizza, whether it's a pizza, whether it's a taco, it's got to be consistent every single time. And working a crowd again, understanding what the public is all about, how finicky they are
Yeah.
as
Right.
well. Stay away from the booze. Listen, don't mix it. That's it. You know what? I mean, be super successful, but there's a bar crowd, there's a restaurant crowd. Let's just kind of keep that separate. That's how it kind of works.
Yeah,
And
my-
when did you kind of decide which one to lean towards? Because obviously so you kind of like lean towards the bar and then
Yeah.
fell in love with the restaurant crowd, or was it just kind of like
it's always
a
been restaurant to begin with.
Right.
Again, because I managed and ran so many promoted so many nightclubs over the years, it was enjoyable. But I think there's a shelf life for anyone in this business that really, when you're in that nightclub business at that time, and also again watching the trends and seeing the changes that were going on, I knew
Yeah.
there wasn't going to be a long shelf life for nightclubs. Once I hit that early 90s period there, things were changing.
Yeah.
Right.
Style, design was changing of the nightclubs. The style was changing of the nightclubs. And it was a big change going on. So I thought quickly, what do I still love? The creativity of it. I was getting a little bit older. I didn't want to be there until 4 or 5 in the morning
Yeah.
with these kids
Yeah.
going crazy all the time. So I figured, what I saw in the nightclubs was the Saturday and Sunday afternoon bar and bat mitzvahs for a while, where they
Right.
would do the kosher style bar mitzvah in the afternoons, and it was a great area that you could tap into that was interesting still. So I just kind of realized nightclubs for my generation were on the way out a little bit at that point. I knew I had a family at that time. It wasn't really a family life for me at that point.
Right.
So I felt, let me just swing more towards the catering end of it. I could still use my creativity,
Yeah.
which I needed to have, my people skills, and I built a luxury brand at that
Right.
point as well. So it was a very different level that we went to, and it was just incredible. It was a long run in the catering business as well.
And for us, for our generation, because I'm just so interested in this, what was that shift? From that kind of 90s nightclub, what was the big kind of change in the industry? Where did it shift to, and where do you think it is now?
It shifted with obviously with the drinking age. Don't forget, when I was young, I was able to drink at 18, then it went to
Right.
19, then it went to 21. 21 was rough enough in the beginning there also, but doable, not a problem at all. The drinking laws obviously became very, very
Yeah.
difficult for us as well. And then it was just the whole music scene changed completely. And just the clubs had their time. It was
Yeah.
it was a great run. It was a long run. It had its time. It's time for a change. And it started going into more of the of almost like the rock and roll clubs came back again.
Yeah.
We saw changes into more saloon type of
All a big
facilities
cycle,
and,
right?
and buildings now would change. It wasn't that high tech deal anymore. Different vibe completely. And it also wasn't my scene at that point.
Right.
I mean, I was a nightclub guy.
Got
So
ya.
it was a little different.
I'm
for me.
seeing that here too, the music, we were club too, and then we switched to live music, and now live music seems so overused. Every place does it. I think it's
that's
gonna
it.
shift back to DJ. I think it's
Yeah.
coming soon.
It always comes back
Yeah.
around,
Look,
right?
you have
in
all those
some way.
big DJs, and you
Yeah.
are back again. It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
nightclubs were all about the DJs at that time. We'd never have a band, let's say, at
Yeah.
the Metro 700 night. But then you saw now that all these bands came back again.
Mhm.
Now the DJs are back again. All these great worldwide DJs are coming back in, which is awesome as well.
Right.
It's a vicious circle.
Yeah.
It just continues. It's a great circle.
But like you said, you gotta hop in and out. You can't be like,
Yeah,
no,
it
we
doesn't
do
wait
this.
for
and
anyone.
You'll be out of business.
Got it.
It's so funny we said about catering too. You do the nightclubs. Yeah, it's fun. It's late. There's girls and guys. Everyone's having fun, but it's a little dangerous as the owner and stuff. And then the catering, it's great. It's grandma comes in, they get their chicken parm. It seems like a
Look,
nicer
it's
kind of.
It's
Yeah.
more respectable to some degree. Look, the nightclubs were an incredible time in my life.
Yeah.
But, look, I ran through a good 12, 15 years of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my run. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Look, I'm never one to be stagnant. I need to keep moving along as well.
Mhm.
It was a perfect time for my transition from that crazy world, which I love,
Yeah.
to a little bit more of a still crazy world. Look, I'm planning brides, I'm planning weddings for brides, and I'm planning bar mitzvahs for kids now. So I still have that creativity point that I could use as well, And actually, it's a natural progression. Here I am now, moving from the catering. I'm moving into now the Dirty Taco world, which is continuing to grow for us, which
Of
is incredible.
course.
What would you say is the hardest part about running a bar or restaurant now, or Dirty Taco?
It's what I tell Tom Jr. all the time. Tom Jr. is getting married. And,
Congrats.
he's getting married
Congrats,
in a couple
Tom.
of- Well, it's been delayed because of the situation.
Oh,
but I tell
yeah.
him to get married
Still
anyway.
congrats.
He's gonna get married. But I tell him all the time, I said, it's when you're in this business, it's not for you.
Yeah.
Your weekends are not yours. Your holidays are not yours.
Right.
Your holidays are Monday.
Mhm.
Your days off are on Monday. And no one else ready to party with you on a Monday. Restaurants closed.
Right.
Today you want to sleep, relax. But you're a public servant to some degree. You really are.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's the hardest part of this business. And if you get past that, and you reap the benefits on the other side. So you're going to give up certain things, but you reap the benefits on the other side as well. And if you're doing this for a natural love of the hospitality world that you're in, it's just a home run. It's heaven. And for me it is, if
100%.
my family it is, my kid it is, but that's really what it's about. That's what you're giving up. Family time. It's not
Yeah.
your time anymore.
Well, the
Who's
good
going to
thing-
be catering Tom Jr.'s wedding?
Absolutely. I've got some crazy ideas for that one.
Are you the wedding planner? You're going to be in charge of the
Absolutely.
wedding? Nice.
Yep.
It's funny. It's not family time, but here at Mulcahy's and with you guys, at least you're working together.
Yeah.
So if you're working Christmas Eve, at least you're all together.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny you said that too, because my dad says you can't be out drinking, you can't be with the crowd, because those are the guys that don't last long, and
Yeah.
you know the stories, the
That's all
drunken
the time.
bar
We don't shit,
owners.
we eat. That's what I tell them all the time, the same thing. Sorry about that.
No, you're allowed to curse here. We're a bar podcast.
Rick, edit.
We were supposed to bring drinks too, but we were a little under the gun and everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you kind of spoke about it, but what do you think is most rewarding, like part about being a bar owner, or the most rewarding experience you've had?
Honestly, most rewarding, first of all, is just being able to work with my family. I mean, my kid and my wife, I mean, we're just such a great family unit. It's incredible for all of us to be in the business. So it's rewarding to be able to work with my family, work with my wife and my son, which I love. But I think it's just, just like with the wedding. To me, the bride leaves at night with mom and dad after the wedding's over, and you get that hug, and you get that usual comment that you expect to get, which is, "Oh my God, thank you so much. It was the wedding of my dreams." And that means so much. And I feel the same way about Dirty Taco. People come to us, they say, "We drove all the way in from Staten Island because we heard about you guys. We're so excited." And it's just, wow, it's like, you know what? We have something working here. They actually drove that far for our $5 taco. It means a lot.
Yeah.
And when they leave and they come in and search out the owner again, Tom Jr., and they're telling him how fabulous everything was and how we treated these people and how we made them feel so comfortable and it was so worth the ride. Or they waited for 2 hours online and they tell us it was so worth the wait, we can't believe it. When the reviews come back and there's such great reviews, that's what makes it all worth it. At the end of the day, you work so hard, but when you're left with those kind of accolades at the end of the day and you go home and you be like, you know what, I'm beat, but it was such a great night, and it just feels so good. It really does. It still makes me tick after all these years, and I can tell you that Tom Jr.'s on cloud 9 when he hears those kind of comments.
Nice,
He
that's
really
awesome.
Is,
And with it being a family business, as Moses as well, just talk a little bit about like the hiring process for you guys. Like you mentioned about you taking your chef to LA. Have you had a couple of people who have been kind of with you for a long time? How is it like bringing new people into a culture that means so much to you?
Yeah, it is very difficult. If I don't think I'd even be in this business if it wasn't for Junior and my wife obviously being in business with us.
Right.
So that's the first thing. But it's difficult with staffing, as you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so difficult to find the right person that has that same innate sense of the business and that really loves it as much as you do. Look, if you look at what we do, I mean, all of us as ownership and managers, we're trying to funnel our entire concept that we work so hard for and with. We're trying to funnel it down through a minimum wage worker.
Right,
Yeah.
and they're your front of house.
Yes,
yeah.
That's the person between us and our guest. So you have to treat them as good as you could possibly treat them. We try to pay them more. We try to give a great work environment, and we want to bring them into the fold. And we tell them all when they come work for us, we're successful for a couple of reasons. And the first reason is we're a family that runs this as a family. We meet and greet every person that walks in our restaurant, and we make them feel as if they're part of our party. We're creating we open up those doors. We're on stage.
Yeah,
Music goes on, lights go on. We're on. T-shirts are on. We're on stage, and you have to be able to believe in that, understand it, and if you don't, you're just not part of our team. It's a very simple concept. You must believe in who we are and what our product is. And if they don't believe in it, it doesn't work. If they believe in it, home run. They'll make a fortune and they'll enjoy their job.
Do most people buy in? Have you had a pretty good experience?
Most people buy in, and the thing is, they don't leave, which is awesome.
Right.
Once they're in that door and they see it, look, I mean, at the end of the day, these young guys and girls are going to college. They need to make X amount of dollars to support themselves.
Yeah.
I get it. But so they're seeing the return for themselves financially. And to be in an environment that's so much fun, it's electric. It's just we're just popping, and it's a great scene to be involved in, and they love it. So so we're able to retain. Once we get the staff, we can retain that staff. We really can. Getting it is difficult, very difficult right now, especially with the unemployment, where they're giving the extra couple of bucks. I mean, some of these young kids that they just say to you, "Look, I can sit home, make $900."
Yeah, they don't want to come back. Pretty soon, though.
I work for $1,000.
Right.
I have been there, and like you said, you guys did create such a great vibe, and I really think like that with the branding and the food is really what made it so successful. And it's funny, I think I was there once. I'm like, this would be a great place to bartend or something. Like you said, you create a fun vibe, like the tequila's flying.
Whenever you're ready, the job is yours.
You got the signs. Hey. I'll get yelled at here.
And actually, one club I did not run over the years was Mulcahy's. So, I mean, we could always flip a little bit. If I flip it one night.
I'm down for that, yeah. Ruby gets paid in tacos. You'll do it, right?
There you go.
I'll do it too, Yeah, wait, you've run every club. Maybe you got to do one night here.
I knew it was a family business. I didn't want to tackle this one. I knew you were good. You guys were good.
I hope we don't have a bad reputation.
You didn't need me here.
Are you a music guy, Tom?
I'm not a musician, absolutely not. No. I do love music.
Big music
though. I
fan.
do love music, absolutely. All types of music as well.
Of course. We're just talking to as Marquez has come up there. We a lot of our guests, we've kind of had this question, especially like within lockdown and stuff. The comeback party, if there was, Tom Fest, Dirty Taco Fest, who would be your headliner and who would be your opening act? Just to give you an idea of you being
God.
such a,
Dead or alive.
That
It could be
is-
an
anyone.
icon in the Long Island hospitality industry. You've got to have seen some live acts.
That's such a hard question. I would have I'd probably bring in, oh God, who would I bring in? I'd probably have to go back a bit in my day. Probably
Yeah,
bring in
go for it.
Some live cover bands I'd bring in.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but as far as musicians, my God, I love everything. I don't know. Look, I'm a big Jay-Z fan.
Nice.
I'm a big hip hop fan. I love my old rock and roll. I love Elvis Presley. I'm a big Elvis fan.
Wow.
That's our first
Already,
Elvis.
covering all
I'm a big
bases.
Elvis guy. Yeah, I love
So we're
Elvis.
going Jay-Z with Elvis as the
Yeah,
opener.
we'll do a little mashup.
Yeah,
that could be hot.
absolutely.
I'm into that.
Yeah, I like it.
Couple more things. I know you got to go soon, and thank you for being with us so far. What advice would you give someone who wants to open a place right now? If you could give them like one thing,
Well,
'cause
right
there's
now,
a lot.
I'd say hold off right now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Next
If
year.
I wasn't involved in the third spot, I would have held off now. No, but
Past pandemic.
If all times were good and if everything was right, it's all in place, I would just, my advice would be, if you're going into it for the money, if you think you're going to make a fortune in this business, don't
do
bother.
it, yeah.
Everyone has this grand illusion, I'm going to own my own business. That's the American dream. I
Yeah.
hope we all own our own business. That's wonderful. But research it very, very well and give it some serious thought. There are so many pitfalls in this business, and it's very difficult, and it's not always about the initial money. There'll be no initial money whatsoever. You have to do it for the love of the business, love of the people, love of hospitality. If you love it, go into it as a labor of love. Don't go into it because you're looking to make a lot of money. Down the line, hope you reap all those great benefits down the line, but you have to work up to that.
Nice.
That's for sure.
And talking of those successful spots, have you got any recommendations for other Long Island restaurants that you love?
Yeah, what are some of your favorites on
My
Mondays
favorite
when you're not
restaurants-
working?
My favorite restaurants, look, a friend of mine owns Salt, right down the block here in Merrick. Love Salt. I'm always at
Nice.
Salt. I'm there usually every Monday night. I'm a big Prime fan. Listen, I go to the taco shops. I
Yeah.
eat everything. There's really nothing I don't love to eat. I hit almost every restaurant there is on Long Island here. I love the new Small Batch in Tom Clicchio's new restaurant, which I think is phenomenal. I love a lot of the big chef-driven restaurants in the city.
Yeah.
Love all those big restaurants as well. I've been to them all. 11 Madison Park, unfortunately, isn't there anymore. One of my favorite restaurants in the world. I think it's incredible. But at the same time, look, as much as I have so much respect for those wonderful chef-driven restaurants that are all, corporate-backed,
Right.
what I really love is the guy or girl that just has that special knack
Yeah.
that could put together the right texture, the right flavor profile, doesn't have that degree behind them, but has that knack and that love
Yeah,
for
it does it
food,
well.
and that really does it well, and that
Right.
really, in my opinion, could be as respected, if not more, than the guy with that paper behind him. That's how I look
Right.
at it.
Yeah.
So if I find those little hole-in-the-wall spots, I love that. I really do. And there's
Yeah.
some great restaurants in Long Island, New York area that we should all frequent. That is fabulous.
One last question. If you could draw up the perfect future, maybe 20 years down the road, what does the future of Dirty Taco look like? Like, do you look at it like you could franchise it to the whole country, or you don't really want to deal with that?
Franchise. We are not franchised. Our family. Again, Tom Jr.'s passion.
Yeah.
Again, he frowns upon that corporate backing. He frowns upon that franchise concept where it's
Yeah.
going to be watered down and dumbed down to a degree because you have to be socially conscious with the right style and decor, and
Right.
he's not about that. To him, this was about a private endeavor. He loves that hipster brand. It's all about himself. It's what he's about. He's very philanthropic. He's about every month he does a different type of charity donation for a different group. Every
Nice.
month he does something else on that. So that's kind of where he is. He doesn't want to water this whole concept down. Does he want to do more units and venues?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's going to be his deal for many years to come. He's looking to do a couple. He's going to ride the wave right now.
Yeah.
Right.
Right now, tacos are it, and his concept is so on point right now.
Mhm.
So he's going to ride the wave as long as he can. He'll do other units down the line. Hopefully, mom and dad, a couple of years, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's all juniors at that point. Let him do his thing.
Yeah, he'll
Do
just
his
pay
thing,
you to stay home, and
Yeah.
that'd be
But
great.
definitely no franchising. It's not our style.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to step back? You think it'll...
I'll always have a voice. Tom Jr. will tell you he'll always have something to say.
Right.
But no, look, I mean, it's all about him. Like any other parent, you're as happy and satisfied and comfortable as your children are happy, and that's how I feel. And as long as he's happy, healthy, and successful, and contributing to society in a good way, you know what? I'm done. I'm actually fine with that. I'm really good with that.
That's awesome.
You know, so
Nice family
Cheers
place.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone go check them out. And if they want, what's your catering business if they want to look it up?
Catering, it goes under the Culinart brand, Culinart Catering Collection, and we're all over Long Island, New York. Actually, Culinart is owned by the largest food service company in the world, which is called Compass USA. And so going to Compass USA, you'll see all the brands underneath that, and Culinart is one of those brands that we have on Long Island here.
Nice. You ever tie in the tacos to that?
Oh, yeah, you'd be amazed how many brides say to me, we want to have dirty taco at the end of our wedding, like when you leave the wedding on the outside,
Yeah.
you do a dirty
Ooh.
taco truck or a stand outside,
That's
which
awesome.
is quite a bit.
Oh, and I tell you one thing, that promise this will be the last one. If you're ordering at Dirty Taco, what are you ordering? What are your favourites?
what's your favorites?
I'm a short rib fanatic, and I'm a Thai Vietnamese shrimp.
Yes, that's next
saw
one.
that,
See,
yeah.
I'm working with, like, every time I go, I try and get a new
Yeah.
3 and a new 3, you know.
You have
But
to like a Thai peanut sauce. If you do,
yes,
do,
oh,
yeah.
the
it's
cold
just
noodles.
off the charts.
Bomb.
It's off the charts. And it sounds crazy. We do a Brussels sprout taco.
Love that.
I like
Yeah,
Brussels
right?
sprouts.
Is that? I mean, who would ever? And that's where the slogan of "No Boundaries" comes to,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is what he lives by. This no boundary concept, and it's like no boundaries in life in general to
Yeah.
him, but no boundaries in what goes in your taco. And when we did this Brussels sprout taco, I couldn't even really kind of fathom. The chef was putting this thing together with Junior, and I was like, I just can't even imagine this. It's our 3rd most popular taco right now.
Wow.
Absolutely
that.
incredible. So
That's awesome.
I know. I
Vegans,
definitely.
there's
I've been there a
something there for
bunch.
you.
I've been there a bunch, but we definitely have to go back and try
Yeah.
them all because
Yeah.
I saw that one online. I really want to try it. So,
Yeah.
And I wouldn't share it with you the
And
last
the
time.
Asian old fashioned you have to try also.
which one?
The Asian Tokyo old fashioned.
Nice. I like the not the Korean, the Thai crunch or something. One of those
Thai.
Thai something.
No,
Thai
you
chicken.
got
Or
the chicken.
Kung Pao chicken.
Kung Pao
Kung
chicken.
Pao
That's the one.
chicken.
I love that
And
one.
the other chicken one that you get as well. We're
I get 'em.
digressing. But, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you.
Thank
on.
you
It's
again
been
for
an
coming.
absolute pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for upcoming interviews and much more of the same from Employees Only Podcast.